Hey, happy Thursday for so many people out there. Welcome to our frequent guest in the live chat, Mr. Sibner. I'm going to take out the E on purpose.
You can do whatever you want. Fine. We're
No,
live. I can correct you because it's Cibener. It's Cibener.
this is Daniel Cibener. He
Cibener.
has been following the channel for the greater part. What are we going on? Just a year and a half, or just over a year and a half?
Black Friday of 2022.
Two.
Yeah. That was my first live chat with you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And now here we are. We've done many of these on our own, but not on the show.
This is what happens when you take me out of the chat. I'm free. I don't have to type anything.
Well, we've never gone over your credentials in the chat. You're writer, actor, stuntman. That was a stretch.
I have stood in for a stuntman.
That's why I said it. Yes.
Yes, I've stood in for a stuntman, but I've never actually done a stunt. I did the after stunt.
Why don't you share with everybody what you've done? What do you do?
I mean, so I studied. I don't know if we've even talked about. I studied in musical theater. That was my origin. Like many people, I started in high school doing school shows and summer stock. Cibener. Well, Stan, yes. The fact that it's taken you almost like 2 years to figure that out. That one's it's just sitting there on a platter for you. But yeah, musical theater. I stayed at a conservatory for that, and then moved into more film and just like regular stage productions. And eventually studied at a place called the William Esper Studio. So I see it always not do so. Yes, I like how Ryan says my name there. It's fine as long as he includes the E.
I do.
He just says it so smoothly. I don't even hear it. Cibener. Yeah, stayed at the William Esper Studio, which is a Meisner studio here in Manhattan. And the reason I did that is because all my favorite character actors went there. David Morse went there. Timothy Olyphant went there. Sam Rockwell went there. So, and since then, yes, in the flesh, Anthony. Yes, all the great names. I'm seeing all the names. I saw Flickering Wave earlier. Yeah, and since then, just been doing, things here and there, film, TV, stage, whatever I can do. Although I'm doing more writing now, actually, than anything else. Just because, since the pandemic, we couldn't really perform, so I fell into my original love before I was even on the stage. I loved writing.
Can you share what you're writing?
What I'm writing right now, which I'm hoping to finish the 5th or 6th draft by mid-June. I'm hoping. It's a coming of age story about this young man who comes back from college in his freshman year for Thanksgiving break in 1999. So it's not really autobiographical, but it's basically what I've done is taken a lot of my experiences with my friends growing up and kind of just smashed them up and mixed them up and created this fictitious story. But a lot of the stuff, like if someone who knew me growing up would read this, they're like, oh, you included this, you included that. But
right.
There's no one-to-one. So no friend's going to come back and be like, hey, you made me sound like this. I'm like, it's not you. This aspect is you, but this part's not you.
Right.
So that's I'm hoping to get that done and start sending that out to agencies by end of June. Yeah.
It's getting closer and closer.
It is. And then if you and I weren't up until 4 a.m. talking about physical media,
since you've got a couple times at this point.
Yeah, but since you've got a TerraVision announcement coming up, maybe I'll jump on the old word processor after this and get started on that.
So that is probably my cue to share with everybody. Tonight we are going to be done right before midnight Eastern, probably done about 10 minutes early, and then head on over to the TerraVision YouTube channel as we're going to be I will be leading another stream where we release a handful of titles. We're going to be talking about some vault secrets that they've been teasing on. Maybe some other random things that you don't know about yet that I'm excited to share with everybody.
Should I watch this thing?
Maybe.
You know my taste. Should I watch this thing?
We'll talk after.
Okay.
What's up, Jimbo?
What that means?
Got a dozen titles this week, including Nailgun Massacre and Satanic. You got it before me. I'm dying to get Nailgun.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know how you follow the chat. I'm ready. How do I see the whole chat? Do I just see what you see, or
on the right side you can click comments and it will be up there? And you can see them.
Man, okay, cool. Oh, thank you, Stan. I figured Stan would appreciate that. I only have so many movie teas, so I gotta represent D Lynch.
Can you start sharing some recent pickups?
Well, as I told you before we went live, I just put up a new shelf, so a lot of my stuff is shelved. But I will tell you, I did pick up Priscilla on Blu-ray because it was on sale through Amazon. Same thing with Dream Scenario, Poor Things. Finally got the Crimson Peak, the limited edition from Arrow. I did get this yesterday. It was a last-second purchase. If anyone's in New York
Nice.
goes to Academy, I'd say $20 for this thing is not a bad.
It's a pretty Steelbook.
It is a very pretty steel, and I went over and it's mint. It's mint condition. So
pretty
nice.
Always
looking to expand my animation collection. And then I got That Cold Day in the Park.
The right title. Nice.
Yes, That Cold Day in the Park. And then my most recent kind of cool find. I don't think anyone ever talks about finds on here, like secondhand finds, but I did find Nashville from Criterion on Blu-ray for $20, which I found very.
It's a decent price nowadays.
And then, I also got Silver Bullet, Prince of Darkness, and Streets of Fire from the Scream Factory sale, and had to grab Patty Hearst off eBay because some people had no patience to wait for the Vinegar Syndrome sale.
That thing sold quick.
And jumped on it. I mean, it didn't sell quick. It's been there for a while.
But but when it got low, man, people were not ready to wait for a couple days.
I was like, wow, okay. I had it on my list of things to get.
Brendan found 50 Kino Blu-rays at a yard sale for 50 cents each. Oh my goodness.
Brendan, are you okay? Did you need to be resuscitated? I've been there. My knees go weak.
That's pretty.
That is incredible. I'm curious. I want to know what he got. I want to know what he found.
Yes, please type all 50 into the chat one at a time.
Just give me some highlights. Give me
list also the year and the director of each film, please.
And if there are any slips on them.
I've got 3 things I'm going to share, and each one is going to come with a warning. We're going to talk first about the biggest controversy of the Blu-ray.com forums this week.
Mm-hmm.
I got in the Case of the Bloody Iris 4K, and this thing, I will say, a lot of people are pissed off because Celluloid Dreams decided to send everything in bubble mailers, including if you ordered these massive lobby cards with it, which are huge, and they sent these and the movie in a bubble mailer with no protection.
That is the first bad move by a new label.
They have heard everyone's complaints, and they are fixing that moving forward. They realized that was a bad choice, and they will not do it again. One thing, too, that I have found a little annoying about this release, I like both of these. I like that they did a double-sided slipcover. You got the English language and then the original Italian. However, if you keep this on your shelf with the English language to the right, as you would normally on the front, the one that sticks out is Italian. If you stick with the Italian to the right, the one that sticks out is the English.
It's like all of a sudden it has hundreds and hundreds of OCD personalities screamed out.
The next one is this gorgeous release of Planet of the Vampires from Radiance.
This thing is a pretty thing.
It is a very nice looking release, and my warning, you're not ever going to be able to watch it because this is the most tight release you will ever see. I think this is even worse than Messiah of Evil from last year.
That's me trying to squeeze into H&M jeans right there. Or trying to squeeze out of them.
I hope to be able to watch that at some point. And then final thing, I had to pre-order because, my goodness, we watched this in the Discord with all of our patrons, and Mute Witness is a masterpiece, so I had to buy the 4K. And my only warning for this is if you watch this, it might be your new favorite movie, so be careful. You're going to have to watch it more than once.
I'm being a damn fool, and I'm actually waiting because those 4Ks are a little pricey, and I'm waiting on that and Narc. And I'm hoping, because after the Criterion sale through Barnes & Noble, there's usually an Arrow sale. So I'm thinking maybe, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Because they are both Region A releases, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're not
Well,
from the UK.
Planet of the
dual-
Vampires is UK.
Oh, sorry. No, I meant the Mute Witness. Sorry, Mute Witness.
Yes, that one is US. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Stan,
What have you been?
Stan Geezy lives a privileged life.
What have you been watching, sir? I know you go to the theater quite a bit.
I have been I've been posting. Good thing is, honestly, with my writing, I try to prioritize. You know, I did. I mean, if we go back a couple weeks, I saw The Strangers Chapter 1. You already know my war on this movie. It is just. I don't want to bother the chat. We only have so much time to go over what a terrible film that thing is. I'm not going to call it a film. It's terrible.
And we got a lot to cover tonight too.
Yes. I saw Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which I don't know why it's called that, because Mad Max is we're going on. But really good. I enjoyed the fact that there's more story in this one than there was in Fury Road. I'm an outlier. I did really enjoy Fury Road, but I do not consider it the masterpiece that most everyone else on this planet thinks of it as. I mean, yeah, it's a very fancy car chase for 2 hours.
It's pretty good.
Again, a very well shot car chase. But for me, it was like I had my hopes lifted so high when I went to go see it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, it was good. But again, I'm glad that everyone else thinks it's something they can pop on every now and again and watch. What else did I see? I was supposed to see what was the horror film that came out recently about you're from the perspective of the killer.
What is it called? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. In a Violent Nature.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, it was one I was like, I need to do my writing, so I'm not going to see that tonight. But Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, fun movie. I saw the TV Glow, masterpiece. Have you seen that yet?
Not yet. The only place that was playing near me, it's like a 50-minute drive, and so being that plus on top of the time, it just wasn't going to work out.
Minutes. It's worth the 50 minutes, right?
Normally, yes, but when you have to get somebody to watch the kids, and it just couldn't work out.
I live a privileged no kids life.
It's true.
What have you seen?
What have I seen? Well, my favorite from this last week, the Discord through the Patreon, we all watched Collateral together. Michael Mann's Collateral.
Yeah.
Man, that movie rocks. I am going to be doing a recording in August on the entire Michael Mann filmography, and so I'm going to be dripping those in every once in a while. And Collateral is just a damn good movie.
It really is.
I finally caught up with Civil War. Was not extremely happy with it. And what's funny is if you look at the letterbox rating I gave it, it's going to look like it's great. It's just shot very well. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of stuff that's good about it. But man, it is just one of the most bland, like not doing much of anything stories when you take some of the things and actually look at it. I thought the performances were pretty damn great. I thought that unfortunately a lot of the scenes looked like straight cut scenes out of video games, but other than that, I mean, it was decent.
It had an artsy Call of Duty feel to it, I will say that.
Exactly, yeah.
You just see the hands like moving around on the screen.
Yeah. Really? I will say Jesse Plemons owned that movie.
Oh,
and he was in it for such a short period of time. It's crazy.
And he did it because someone backed out.
Right.
And Kirsten Dunst was like, can you do it?
Somebody backed out and he got to go hang out with his wife. Like, that's a good thing.
So do you feel that way based on the fact, because compared to other Alex Garland films, or is that just in general? Like,
I think that's the thing. I feel like I liked Ex Machina quite a bit when it came out. Annihilation came out and I was blown away. Mm-hmm. Men, it depends on the day.
I'm a man stan. I love that film.
I do feel that way sometimes, but yeah, I do feel like Civil War just Kind of fell apart for me. And supposedly, if this is his last director role ever, which it might be,
I think he just said he's taking a break because he was like, that's like say the biggest project he's ever done. So he might start writing. So obviously he's writing 28 years later.
I think he said he's planning on only writing and having other people direct his scripts.
Okay, I mean, again, we already knew him from his writing, so it's
Exactly.
I'm fine if he feels like you. I mean, how many directors say that all the time? I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna direct again. How many times has Soderbergh retired? How many times has
right
Miyazaki retired? I mean, it's
let's see. I'll only say one more thing.
Yeah.
I did give this a watch.
Mhm.
And for anybody that is worried about this, it's a brand new label. There's going to be a lot of people with a lot of feelings. This movie is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen a better looking 4K of a giallo in quite some time. Like this and the Argentos are probably some of the best 4K giallos out there. The quality with this is comparable to the best of the best from Blue Underground, from Arrow. I prefer even the way that this looks compared to some of the Vinegar Syndrome releases. I think they did an incredible job. Most everything is very high quality. As long as they ship things in boxes, I think they have a long, long, long future ahead of them.
Did you what did I say? Oh, so you're saying I should basically just toss my Shameless disc?
Yes. I know for a lot of people, the question is it going to look better than the DVD? Because that's all we had for years.
Mm-hmm.
And it blows that out of
I would assume.
Yeah.
As such, yes. And if for anyone, I don't know. I mean, I know this, but I don't know if anyone else knows. So if you want the slipcover, you got to order it from them. Yeah. Because if you go through Orbit or Diabolic or wherever, you're not going to get that. Sweet.
I did not watch Devs. I've wanted to, but TV kind of takes a back seat recently, sadly. Of course, as usual, there's all kinds of stuff I watch that I just don't log on Letterboxd. That happens every week, whether that be releases from labels that I don't want necessarily to put a public review out there, or stuff I'm working on. I can't necessarily say something about.
Not gonna review Roommates on Letterboxd, Ryan? Come on.
I mean, I did watch it 3 times, so I'll let you know.
For each of the roommates, it's like a Rashomon thing. You got to see all their different perspectives.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had to. I think that's it. Anything else you want to highlight before we do our announcements, sir?
If I think of anything while we go, but yeah, let's dive into it.
Are you ready to do that from this seat rather than watching?
Oh yes, absolutely. My thumbs are free. I'm not just ready to make witty commentary for everything.
Well, what's great is
how you doing?
What's great is you get to cover all of the Vinegar Syndrome announcements from during the sale. We're not going to go too much into depth on these. I shared my thoughts last week, so you get to wax poetic about these yourself. How do you feel about Invasion USA?
I mean, I grew up, with Chuck Norris, so I remember a time when Missing in Action 2 would always be on the TV, but not the first one. So for many years, I think someone actually fooled me into thinking there was only a 2, and that was the thing, there was no 1. So like in my 20s, when I was like, there's actually a Missing in Action 1. I always would, as a kid, like tune to like USA Network, and it was always like the last 20 minutes of Missing in Action 2. I've never seen Invasion USA. I will say I've not caught up. I've obviously seen Sidekicks and stuff like that in the later Chuck Norris movies, but none of this stuff. I did not grab this though. This is, as you know, it's like with Vinegar Syndrome, you kind of have to prioritize.
Gotta play the game.
And then cross your fingers and toes and hope you can make it to, I guess it would be next halfway if you want that for half price. Or who knows, the January subscriber week, who knows? Depending on what they do.
I mean, it could be on sale in November too.
Oh, but no, this would not count, right? It's has to be.
This is a May title, so theoretically it should be on sale in November. But
circle back.
They kind of change their minds on how they do that sometimes.
Yeah. Did you grab this one? Oh wait, you're a subscriber, so you.
Correct.
You just got it.
It's on the way. Yeah. Next one, Criminally Insane and Satan's Black Wedding double feature. Any thoughts on Crazy Fat Ethel?
You know what this is? This is not Corpse Eaters.
It's true.
It's not Corpse Eaters like I predicted. I will say I've never, complete honesty, across the board, I had never heard of this film. That looks like Marissa Tomei down there.
Have you heard of the other title? It's other Criminally Insane is also known as Crazy Fat Ethel.
Unfortunately, with Vinegar Syndrome, when it's the first things out of the gate with announcements, it's going to make me look like a fool because there's such deep cuts. There's a very good chance I'm like, I don't know. I plead ignorance. I really don't know. Have you seen this?
I've seen Crazy Fat Ethel in a very different cut, I believe, than what this is going to be. But that was years ago, and hardly remember it. All I remember is the blood doesn't look very realistic at all.
Well, when did this come out? 74?
This is a 74 title, yeah.
So is this around the time that I think when is this a European release or is this US?
This is US, I believe.
Because I know there were all those regulations with like blood had to be a certain color. Like it could not be red. It had to be almost like a pinkish red.
Right.
To get past the censors. So it almost looked like Pepto-Bismol was like coming out of your wounds.
Well, this is the Nick Millard double feature, and we did find out that we've got many more titles from Nick Millard coming. They have all of them. Yeah, stoked on that.
You think there's going to be a box set? Because a lot of things are like shorts and stuff.
I feel like we will probably get at least something like that, or like a double feature and then another disc with it that has a handful of shorts, something like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm catching Stan's comment that he ruined an elevator with Chuck Norris.
Corpse Mania 4K, I believe that is either July or August. And then I don't know, just in case you guys did not hear this last week, remains to be seen. This is a featurette that they are putting on this Nick Millard double feature here. It is produced by the Vinegar Syndrome Film Archive, and it's about preserving the films of Nick Millard. And it's going to be talking about how they're restoring it, what they had to do. And crazy enough, that sort of featurette happened because Oscar was on this show, and we talked about putting a featurette on the restoration process. So he was nice enough. He's putting my name in a credit in there to say it was inspired by me. Oscar's such a mensch. He's a great guy.
I still have to watch Celeste's interview with him. Again, time is a factor.
Got to take an evening for that one.
It's freaking 2 hours. Like,
next up is our first 4K VSA. This is Lifeline from '97. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on this one?
It definitely looks interesting. I'm telling you, until we get to the later times, I'm gonna look like a fool. I'm gonna look like someone who has never gone through Vinegar Syndrome's collection before. No, I mean honestly, I've never seen it.
Neither have I. Nope. This is I'm excited for something that is meant to be a send-up of a fun action flick from the U.S.
This is always my feeling with the artwork, is that if you're telling me it's a fun send-up, I do not get that from that cover art.
Well, like a dramatic. I'm not saying it's
okay.
Happy-go-lucky, but like I think it's fun that they want to do a version of Backdraft.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. I do notice that the artwork has a little. I'm not gonna say what it looks like, but it does look like the remains of something. I'm not.
All right, going to the next title. The Instructor. Dustin was just talking about watching this one. This is from 1981. This is a VSA Blu-ray. I'm assuming. No thoughts on this one.
I mean,
cool.
Definitely not the Cheney I've known. I mean, that other one though. If you go back to the back cover, the back art of that one, that was like, what's his name? The scientist. Can't remember his name.
Bob Ross.
No, the scientist that was.
I know. I was making a Bob Ross joke.
Oh, okay.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, I believe.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, it's just like that's what it reminds me of.
Is that Burt Reynolds? That art is something else. Yeah. All right, going to the next one.
Okay, go on.
Tom Savini in The Ripper. Did you ever see The Ripper?
I've never seen the Ripper, but I am a Jack the Ripper enthusiast. I don't know how that's going to come out sounding, but I remember you saying when we were doing the stream last week that this was not good, or you did not enjoy it.
This is not a good movie.
But that art, I'm telling you, they get you with the slipcovers. That I almost bought it. If you hadn't said it wasn't good, I would have bought it because I do love Tom Savini, and yeah, no, I would definitely. If it goes down to the $10 bin, I may have to just risk it, just because I do love Jack the Ripper, not in a personal way, but the story.
Savini talks about how much he hates this movie.
Did he direct this, or he's just in it?
Just in it.
Oh, okay, and I'm assuming he did the effects.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, it makes it look like it's like a $3 million feature,
right?
It's probably just like a $3 feature,
basically.
Yeah.
Sweet Sugar got a catalog slipcover, and then we also got one for Red Mob.
Got them both.
Got them both.
Got them both. I mean, Sweet Sugar is just like, if you like that exploitation 60s,
women in prison,
you know, kicking ass and stuff like that. Yeah, that's. And again, when I remember this was I'm trying to remember. This was it the subscriber week? What was the time when they were like, we found a bunch of out of print stuff and it's first come, first served? Do you remember that sale?
Oh God, I think that was a New Year's Day thing in.
Yeah, it was the 10th anniversary. You're right. It was the 10th anniversary, the 10 for 10. It was the start of the 10 for 10.
Yep.
And they dropped like Sweet Sugar, and I jumped on it because they're like, it's going out of print. And I remember that and Alley Cat, like they had it with the slip, and then it sold out like super fast. And they had like, they had a lot of like out of print stuff. Fade to Black had a slip that sold out really fast.
Sweet Sugar, I think, was even older than Fade to Black. So the fact that they found some of those was wild.
Yeah. And then they had Thriller, which was, at that point, I had already bought it. So I was like, go ahead, take it. I don't need the double box with the slip.
And they also did a House by the Cemetery big Ibon Press comic book set. I figure you got 3 of these, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love Fulci, but that thing has to weigh like 20 pounds.
They're not 20 pounds. They're fairly beefy, but they're nice.
I think they look like an omnibus.
Yeah.
That's what they look like. And they also come with a J card.
Yes, they do.
You got to save that too.
They put out a handful of brand new shirts, quite a bit of them actually. That's all we got for shirts. And then they also did socks, a fingerboard, a flag enamel pin, a golf ball enamel pin, stickers, Demon Wind VHS, cinematograph sticker.
Cinematograph. Before I rub it in your face about getting the socks, did you get any of the t-shirts?
I did. I ended up going for the shroom.
Oh, I got the shroom one.
Yeah.
I would have done if it wasn't like twice the price of all the other shirts or whatever it was.
It was $5 more.
What? No.
It was 30 versus 25.
I thought the shirts were like 22. I don't know.
Yeah, not that much more.
Well, apparently no one got the free pen. Who just said they got the free pen? Reggie, the free pen. Apparently they weren't even free. What you told me, Jeremy got
charged. A couple other people got charged. I bet they're gonna take mine. Yeah,
I'm fine. I got a whole bunch of pens right here. I'm fine.
And you got socks coming.
I got socks coming. Can't wait. I hope they're good material. I hope it's not like holes in the socks like after like 5 washes or something like that.
Right. I wish I could.
It's my first article of clothing from them. I don't know what the material is like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Riddle of Fire. They did.
This is what I can wear in public. I can't wear nipples in public.
Good call. Riddle of Fire. They did quite a bit with. We got a new print. We got a CD, or not CD, vinyl soundtrack.
Look at you bringing back the CD.
It's still
Yeah.
in style, my friend. They also did One Speckled Egg card game. That thing sold out super fast.
It did, for all those Magic the Gathering enthusiasts who had to have it.
It's true. I'm still dying to see this. I can't wait to get this movie in.
I've heard nothing but great things, and I do love what's her name that's in it from Crazy Stupid Love, and I cannot remember her name for the life of me. She does a lot of indie. She was in a movie with Miles Teller, and I can't remember that either.
I'm kind of upset because literally yesterday I was trying to explain a movie to somebody and trying to say it's like Crazy Stupid Love, where at the end of it, all three of their storylines just smash into each other, and I couldn't remember the name Crazy Stupid Love until now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh man. Then over on Melusine, we got a couple titles from the Quality X line. We got That Lucky Stiff and Bon Appetit as a double feature, and I'm sure you got a couple of copies of this one.
I will wait for when they go on sale. You know, I have to be very selective with my classic porn. But hey, the rep in New York, you know, they got everything. They got Statue of Liberty, got the Arc de Triomphe on the other side. And we've talked about this. Every time I go through the stills, it's like, look at the shot of that street.
Yep.
The architecture is so cool. I said, we're the only two guys at 2 a.m. talking about the architecture of the street of a porn.
Of a still from a movie we haven't seen.
Exactly. Did you pick any of these up?
No, not this time. I will be waiting myself.
I mean, I gotta say, I hate to say it, but I feel like Melusine, or as I call it, Horny Starbucks, is just not getting the love anymore.
Not being on the same website, I think, is taking away a lot from them.
Yeah. And again, I feel like most of the activity comes from the Vinegar Syndrome still like going out of print, like
Right.
discount items, because it's like, you know, it's one thing to buy like, and I do not, you know, begrudge anyone their classic porn, but it's like, it's one thing to buy a movie for, you know, $35, and then it's another, it's just like, okay, let's just be clear what this is. It's $8 for a porn. I'm like, no.
No Jamie Gillis this time, Humboldt. Then the other one is Cecil Howard's Farewell Scarlets. I'm still kind of shocked that Instagram didn't flag this one for me.
There's no nipple. That's why. They don't like the nipple.
Hey,
They don't like the nipple,
yes.
Ryan.
What's rare, this one has a poster coming with it. A lot of those do not.
Definitely going to get that framed. You know, this is a murder mystery, by the way.
Yes, this one looks good.
Which is exactly what everyone's going to be trying to figure out the whole time. I couldn't solve it. It was so complicated. I couldn't even follow the plot that much. By the way, the fact that it's who slew Scarlet, I mean, there's some missed opportunities here.
And then there's a poem on the back. That's the best part.
Should I read this?
Go right ahead, sir.
Was Scarlet a harlot, or merely a starlet, gyrating her way to the top? Was Sam Smut of the screen and Dexter Sleuth on the scene? You'll find out of a murderous plot. At Connie columnist, she laughed, gave the shaft to Gilbert Graft. She was hated by all but Brett Volley. She blackmailed La Star and left none without a scar, and that was dear Scarlet's folly.
That was pretty close to perfect. I loved it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Everybody's making Who Slew Auntie Roo jokes. I love it. All right. That's it for VS. That's it for Horny Starbucks.
Okay.
Just a reminder.
Finally, yes.
It is Thursday night, and in 2 days, we get, I think we're up to 21 titles being revealed by OCN for Partners Only Month. On top of that, we are getting a brand new partner label revealed in the month of June. So there's a lot coming.
Mm-hmm. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Are we?
Maybe.
I'm looking at Imprint.
Well, yeah, this is the next title. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. You're talking about OCN. And I was like, wait, what?
I just putting the button on it. You got 2 days left, and then there's going to be 21 more titles announced.
Yes, absolutely.
All of these are now.
You're throwing me off.
All of these are now Imprint. These are all Blu-ray, all releasing on August 28th. many of these first time in the world on Blu-ray, including this first one, 1967's The Taming of the Shrew with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, and this is coming with 0 special features.
But, and before I say this, it's a shame that I already did the Who Slew, what's her name, Scarlet, because I have a whole monologue from Taming of the Shrew I could have done for you. Yes. But one thing I want to point out through actually most of these announcements through Imprint, and we'll talk about it, is the 2K scan.
Yes.
And that shocked me.
Yeah.
Is this what I think it is? Are they actually scanning stuff now?
They have scanned things before, but the only time that they've done it is when they advertise it. So they've only done it like 6 times before.
Okay.
This is a pretty heavy month, though.
I mean, I love me some Taylor and Burton. This was, I think, their second marriage to each other around this time. 67 maybe was the first. I don't know.
Paul, you're right. Paul says Imprint are starting to slack on features for some releases, but then stack others to the brim. And I agree. It's kind of weird. Like, their box sets are overwhelmingly full. And then single titles are $30 US with nothing on them.
Good one, Stan, by the way. Good one. I caught the quote. Yeah.
After Taming of the Shrew, we've got Woman of Straw with Sean Connery from 1964.
I mean, gotta have some Sean Connery in there. He's bloody, man. It's bloody amazing.
I've never seen this one, but quite a few people were saying this is Sean Connery's best movie ever.
Was this? I mean, this is post Bond, I'm assuming, or
64.
So it's right there,
right around it. Yeah.
Wasn't Bond 60? Well, Dr. No was 63. Am I pulling that out of my ass?
If I remember right, the suit he's wearing in this was also in the first Bond film.
I was about to say that's when he's when you first see him. Yeah, Bond, James Bond. I have not heard of this one, but I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'm all for some Sean Connery.
This one is not empty. This one has new audio commentary by Lee Pfeiffer, Tony Latino, and Paul Scrabo. A new interview with the sound assistant, Graham V. Hartstone. And a new video essay on Gina Lolabridge by Kat Ellinger. I got to ask, a sound assistant that worked on a film from 1964.
I would rather that. And again, I'm not trying to diss anyone who they pull in historians and stuff like that. But this is like, I think someone asked on a Reddit page, it's like, what kind of special features do you most desire these days? I'm like, I want a commentary if the commentary is like someone who worked on the film. Like, that's my first and foremost thing. Like, if you're an expert on it, great. That's absolutely. But this is like the first thing, even if it's like someone who's like barely holding on by a thread, who's just like, that's right, I held the boom mic. Sean Connery's sweep the knee, knocked me over.
Brian in the chat says, as a sound assistant on many movies that you have seen, he could tell some stories.
Exactly. That's what I want. At this point, Sean Connery is no longer with it. Like, please tell stories. I want to know. Get the person a drink or something like that, and stick a mic on them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, Synanon from 1965, another worldwide first on Blu-ray. This one has a trailer on the disc, and that's it. We got Edmund O'Brien, Chuck Connors. Big fan of Chuck Connors in this house. This says, this controversial drama chronicles the ongoings at Synanon House, a rehab center for people with all kinds of addictions.
Not heard of this, but this is, what year is this? 1965?
65.
Yeah. That sounds like a melodrama. I would check that out.
With Chuck
and Silent Mandible, yes, I agree. Zardoz. There is no Sean Connery except Sean Connery in a leather diaper.
Next one, Jessica from 1962. Maurice Chevalier and Angie Dickinson in this one. This is another worldwide first. This one we got a new audio commentary by C. Courtney Joyner, and then an archival interview with Angie Dickinson on this one.
I must be getting my names mixed up. When I read that, I was like, Angie Dickinson. I'm like, what? How is she this old? And I got her mixed up with the other Dickinson that was like in the sequel to 9.5 Weeks.
Oh no, that's
I'm
not
mixing
Andrew.
with Angie Everhart.
All right. Crossplot is our next one. This is from 1969. Another Bond. And this one is another worldwide first on Blu-ray. Roger Moore starring. This one is going to have a bunch of stuff on it. New audio commentary by Roger Moore's biographer and talent agent Gareth Owen. And Henry Holland is on that with them. New interview with the director of this, Alvin Rakoff. New interview featurette with some actors and actresses and a hairdresser. There's a new archival audio recollection, which fun way to put that. A new archival audio recollection. We got a new location featurette and then a new restoration featurette with film grader Jonathan Wood, which that is rather rad too, just like we were just talking about with Vinegar Syndrome.
And I feel like they are really trying to sell the Bondness of these movies.
They really are. Yes.
With Moore and Connery. I actually prefer, I do really dig the slipcover, but I really do love that inside art.
I agree. Yeah, looks really nice.
Side convo, who was your first Bond and who is your favorite Bond?
Oh man, I am not truly a Bond person. I got to admit, I don't even think I've seen half the Bond films, just because I don't find a lot, like they're all very samey to me, for at least for the ones I've seen.
You do it for the villains are what are the most memorable.
Yeah. I think Brosnan was my first one, just based on my age. And God, I mean, honestly, he may be my favorite, primarily because the video games that started to come out when he was Bond were freaking great.
Well, there's only one game, and you automatically win if you do that. Yes, but as far as movies go, like Moore was my first. Like the very first Bond I ever saw was Moonraker, which is just an abomination. Like of all the movies to see for the first time was Moonraker. But Connery is at this point is still. It's either Connery, honestly, Connery or Craig. The only Bond film I can watch now, just like on a casual rewatch, is Casino Royale.
Yeah,
because that thing is.
It's a great movie.
It's really just. I will watch the parkour chase scene, just by itself.
Yeah,
it's a fun little YouTube 10-minute watch.
Chris is asking, I'm not live on Facebook tonight. No, StreamYard is not working with Facebook for some reason. I will try to add it yet again, literally in the middle of the show, and it might start working. I'm not sure. But yeah, it wouldn't connect all day. I tried about literally 40 times. Terrorvision announcements in about 2.5 hours. Brendan, I was typing a response. I'll just say he's asking, am I participating in Junesploitation? Kind of. I've got a handful of titles that I really wanted to watch that are exploitation.
What is this? I've never heard of this.
It's just a month to focus on different types of exploitation and really focus on that style of filmmaking.
Okay. Just all facets of it?
All facets of it. And the more you mix it up, the better, at least for me.
Like nunsploitation?
Nunsploitation, blaxploitation, hicksploitation. Yeah.
Aussie-sploitation?
Yeah.
Aussie-sploitation,
yeah, F This Movie organizes it every year. That's the big thing.
Oh, nice. What does Anthony say? Slater-sploitation?
He is a big fan of Christian Slater.
Oh, I thought. See, my mind went to Slater from Saved by the Bell. Mario Lopez has a exploitation film.
There's 30 different prompts to follow, and with exploitation, they mix it up with everything.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. I gotta check that out.
Next Imprint is another worldwide first. We got Banning from 1967.
Mm-hmm.
We got some bigger names in this. We got Robert Wagner. That's probably the biggest one, of course. Gene Hackman, Ron Winston, Jill St. John. New audio commentary by Howard S. Berger and Steve Mitchell. New interview with Robert Wagner and Jill St. John in this. New interview with journalist and author John Burlingame on Quincy Jones's score. This looks like a fun release.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'd never heard of it, but of course, Robert Wagner, you gotta have an interview with that guy.
Everybody's saying sirens and do I hear police? Cibener lives in New York City. It's just
Nothing happened in New York today. I swear. It was a very quiet time in New York. Nothing happened. Just your regular, middle of the run of the mill stuff.
I heard a lot of clapping, but anyways.
I mean, what can I say? I mean, maybe Midtown. I don't know, somewhere maybe.
All right. Next title. We got a 4K announcement for Let's Spend the Night Together from Kino, featuring Hal Ashby's The Rolling Stones film. Brand new Dolby Vision Master on this coming soon from a 4K scan.
Wow. And are you a Stones person?
I mean, prefer the Beatles over the Stones, but have a big appreciation for them.
Yes, my an ex of mine was big on the Rolling Stones, so they got me, into it. But I am a Beatles person through and through. For anyone interested, the cinematographer is in fact Zooey Deschanel's dad. For anyone curious about that,
Caleb Deschanel.
Yes, that is her dad.
All right. Next up, Red Mountain from Kino coming soon. This is only coming as a Blu-ray. We get a 2020 HD master by Paramount from a 4K scan. I got Alan Ladd, Elizabeth Scott, Arthur Kennedy, John Ireland in this one. Have not seen this one. Have not heard of it.
I'm not a big Western person. It's not my forte, but Alan Ladd, I do like Alan Ladd. So, and this is you said Kino.
Yep, Kino's coming soon. Who knows when?
There are moments when you'll post something and I will absolutely know, not even looking at the text, who is putting it out. I don't know what is, but there's a certain poster art that you go, oh, that's a Kino release. I know it will be.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Next one was Sands of Iwo Jima. This one's coming on 4K. This is the next John Wayne title that they've announced for 4K. Directed by Alan Dwan. John Agar is also in this. Forrest Tucker, Arthur Franz. John Wayne. How do you feel about John Wayne?
Moving on to the next film.
I can do that.
Yeah, no. I'm not a John Wayne fan. I get it. There's a generation that reveres him, and I've just never. It's again, westerns were never my thing. So
right.
I never had any. There was no one in my life that kind of tried to turn me on to John Wayne. I know a lot of people will say their father, their grandfather, got them into John Wayne. And it's just not my thing. How do you feel about John Wayne?
I am probably better just say next title.
All right then.
Next, Late Night with the Devil from this year is getting a 4K media book from Cape Light in Germany on September 19th. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's in English language. Still unsure if there will be English captions, but either way, it'll be 4K so far. This is the only 4K announcement for this. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people are 4K or no buy nowadays. This doesn't seem like a movie that I'd feel like that about. The format doesn't really call for it, especially when they're. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna. No, please finish.
I just when they're trying to go for a backstage look type of feeling film to make that super high quality feels a little anti what they're going for.
Did they shoot this on film?
I don't think so.
This is one of the few things, because again, it's my whole schedule thing is I will walk home from work and go to the movies. They were only showing this in specific theaters in New York. The one that was showing this one was in Times Square, and I just loathe the Times Square theater. It's just not the place you want to go if you want to have a good movie experience. So I did not get to see this yet. I know it's on Shudder now, right?
I think it is. And Shudder will be handling it in the US. I imagine they will be announcing a release here soon, whether that's through an OCN release or if that's through RLJE like they normally do. Who knows?
That's what I was thinking. So either you have RLJ, which is, I like their stuff. I like their releases, and they're very affordable.
That's the best thing about them. Yeah.
Yeah, or it's like them and Vestron have like the two best prices. Or like you said, OCN will put this out, and in that case, I'll just wait. You know, the other thing about media books, at least the German media books, I was saying to myself last night when I was shelving my stuff, they're really tall.
Yeah,
it's really hard to account for like space on your shelf. Like, what's the space supposed to be? You know, between them. You know, and like the German media books are the first things where you're like, damn it, and it doesn't fit. Yeah, I only have like a couple that are that tall, but they're still. It's like I don't know what to do with them.
And yeah, Paul did confirm. The directors of this movie did say the preferred format is Blu-ray.
Oh well, there you go then. So Cape Life's like, well, fuck. Bring it out then. Because someone on Blu-ray.com said 4K or nothing.
Exactly. Speaking of 4K, we are getting a 5-film box set of the Mad Max films because, of course, we are. They're they're going to milk these. We got these coming soon.
It becomes a 6-film set.
You can pre-order now, and I got to admit, decent looking art on the box set.
I'm trying to figure. I'm assuming it's one of these like accordion, like fold out.
Yeah, fold out.
Fold out. My only qualm with that is now, so is that going to be like a cardboard with the plastic casing on top, where it's like, you know, or sometimes they just have like the little foam peg nowadays, and it's like built into the.
I hate those.
Yeah. So that's my worry. It's like I wish they would get a little bit more detailed and actually show us what it's going to look like. I'm not getting. I have all of them, so it's like I don't need it, but I still, for other people's sake, I would like it if they actually showed the finished product.
Yeah. Cloud Mage says this is an instant pre-order. Silent Mandible said, gimme. Oh, man. Yeah, love it. Next, I think we just got more Furiosa for a little bit. This is the US Steelbook, Furiosa 4K Steelbook. This is coming as a standard release as well, but the Steelbook should be a wide release. It'll be on Walmart and Amazon and everywhere else. You can pre-order it already at Walmart and Amazon soon, I believe.
That's the cover art we get. And now when we go to the European one, this is what the studios think of us. This is what they think of Europe. European
so much better.
So much like that's what the fuck? Why do we get this like hub, like hub ornament, and they get this amazing? I can't even tell what it's like. It's like a bronze statue. It's so good. I would actually get that if I was going to buy any of them. I would get that.
Stan is asking, are all the films in 4K? Brian is saying, is this the first time for the Mad Max films on 4K? They've all been on 4K before, so this is literally just a recap.
Oh, well, Mad Max came out through Kino.
It did.
But then they released a whole set through Studio. MGM, or whoever it was, that now has it.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how you cover the chat. I'm like, every now and again, I'm like catching something.
Cloud Mage likes the covers of both the Steelbooks. The US one is just the title card.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that the character is the main focus on that one. Furiosa, like there's no Furiosa on that cover of the Steelbook.
Oh, we haven't even scratched the surface in terms of my complaints about Steelbook art. We're gonna get to it. You know what I'm talking about. We talked about it the other day.
Oh, that's right. It feels like it was like 3 weeks ago. Jesus. Jaws 3. How do you feel about this cover art?
Okay, hold on. I need a drink or something. This is not my biggest cookie because the back of the Steelbook, fine. That's fine. My qualm with this is that the Jaws 2 Steelbook that everyone remembers took that classic cover of the woman in the yellow bikini and reversed it. And like, if you're a fan, you and me were like, oh, I totally get what you're going for. I don't know what the fuck this is. Maybe it's been a while since I've seen Jaws 3. But it's just like, hey, it worked the first time. Let's do it again. But
I'm not against that. At least they look a similar style.
But they're going to be on your shelf. You're not even going to see it that way. I mean, I get that. I totally get that. And
not everybody keeps Steelbooks on their shelves. I've got some that are displayed outwards.
Well, lucky you, Mr. Square Footage. I'm just saying. But I'm saying Jaws.
Was that a fat joke?
Huh?
No, I was being stupid. I said, was that a fat joke?
Cancel me on here. My first stream, Ryan. You told me you'd be gentle.
Anyways, July 23rd, 4K Steelbook. This is coming from Universal. They're also doing a standard release. We're going to talk about a package deal as well. You're going to rant a little bit, so let's also talk about at the same time Jaws: The Revenge, Jaws 4.
Okay. Well, we got to also go back to Jaws 3 because my other rant is about the inside art where, oh, look, we got Dennis Quaid and what's her name, feeding, an orca. So it's not even a damn shark. So, of all the shots they could have done, where's Louis Gossett Jr.? Where's any of the other characters? Then you go to Jaws: The Revenge. Next slide, please. I need a little controller. Next slide.
I was going to say, where's the clicker?
Yeah. My TED Talk. Oh, look at this. Michael Caine on a boat. All these guys
in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, well, these guys are swimming from nothing. They're swimming away from... At first, I thought maybe that was the fin. But no, it's the back of the damn plane. So it's just them swimming to nothing. Yes.
I mean, there's a boat here behind this part.
No, I know they're swimming to a boat, but where's Jaws? Where's the shark? That's my whole... They could have had the scene where, he leaps up, onto the banana boat. That's the scene from Jaws: The Revenge. Now, the front cover, I get it's a reverse of the original art, but if you zoom in, enhance, please. Enhance. She's not even looking at him. She's just kind of oh, I forgot something. And
she's loading a harpoon.
She's loading a harpoon, but it's just, I don't know. I get the first one was I love that Jaws 2 Steelbook. I really do. And this just feels like someone at Universal was like, hey, Gary, let's do it again. And I don't know what's everyone else saying. I can't even see if her name is Bess Armstrong. Sorry, Ronnie. Yes, her name is Bess Armstrong. I apologize. Yes. It's been a long time since I've seen Jaws 3. It has been a long, long time. I need to do another rewatch. But you are correct. I should have known that. Yeah, there's just there's so many other options. It's just
I love what Brian said. He says, I get all this passion, but also both these movies are just pretty bad.
Okay, yes. I totally get that. Yes. I'm not losing sleep over these things. Because we're going to see exactly what's going to happen with the box set, and I got my other qualms with this thing right here. Why do we need 2? We already got 2. 2 came out. I mean, and this is to me, this is the Walmart bargain bin Jaws JPEG you slap on the front and be like, here are the other 3.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest. I never picked up Jaws 2, so I might be more apt to get this. But yeah, I get a lot of people did.
If you don't have the Jaws 2, I get it. I just think that this is if you look on the back, do we have the back art for that Jaws collection?
Yes.
This is hey, here are some Jaws 2 sequels and Jaws 3 and Jaws 4. That's what this is. I know they're not going to get a Michael Caine audio commentary, but there's got to be something. What about the missing footage? Actually, that whole last scene, and for anyone who's never seen Jaws: The Revenge, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil this for you. It's the most choppy ending. I remember as a kid watching and going, wait, what just happened?
Right.
And all these times you go back and watch it as an adult, and you're like, oh no, I wasn't losing my mind. I wasn't, just a kid who didn't understand what was going on. It makes no sense because the whole ending, there's so much. I think you can find it on YouTube. There's the missing footage.
Brad at TerraVision says Jaws 2 is better than Jaws. Dustin is saying, why do a 3-movie collection of Jaws without the first one when they're all through Universal?
You can go. Yeah.
From what I've been told, Spielberg demands that Jaws have nothing to do with any of the sequels in anything. Never packaged together, nothing.
I'm not even gonna fight with Brad. It's fine. I mean, what am I? It's a straw man's argument. What am I? What am I gonna do? I was gonna say we're gonna say time will tell. It already has. Yeah, no, I actually don't mind Jaws 2. I like Jaws 2. I probably watched Jaws 2 as much as I watched the first Jaws growing up. You know, no, I have soft spots for all of it. I mean, even the cheese. I mean, the severed hand with the grenade in 3. All of it's fun. I got no problem with that.
All right, moving right along then. Drive coming to the U.S. on 4K for the first time, August 27th, in a 4K Steelbook from Sony. And this one is getting an all-new featurette with interviews with the writer, editor, composer, and Christina Hendricks and Ron Perlman.
This is it's not the second sight edition.
Right.
I mean, my own damn fault. I like Drive. I didn't like it that much. But now, of course, I have the FOMO of the fact that that set is so gorgeous and should have jumped on it. I mean, I might pick this up. I heard, is this going to be the same? This is the same 4K transfer that they did for Second Sight?
Most likely. I mean, they're probably not going to confirm that publicly, but yeah.
I mean, I heard it's great. I mean, and again, it's a very darkly lit movie, so yeah.
Yep.
I would, and this is Walmart exclusive.
This one should be, it's wide. Sony does not do a lot of those Walmart exclusives.
Oh, it's a Sony. Okay, so that means it's gonna be like 35 on Amazon for Lord knows how long.
Yeah.
Got it.
Warner Archive coming in hot with announcements this week. We've got another Scooby-Doo double feature with Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost and Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. These are from 99 and 2000. This one, we've got no special features on this disc other than a short making of featurettes and then some trailers. But it's Scooby-Doo, and I'm glad that they're still putting those out.
I love them, Ryan. No, I do. I do really love Scooby-Doo. I do love it. Did you see the SNL skit?
Recently, right? I haven't linked. I've not watched the whole thing yet.
With Jake Gyllenhaal? Okay.
Yeah, I need to.
It's pretty damn funny.
Witch's Ghost is better than Zombie Island. That is a hot take.
It's been a no pun intended, a dog's age since I've seen these Scooby-Doo movies. I always liked it when Batman and Robin guest starred.
Yeah.
There'd be that moment where they the Scooby-Doo, and they like the theme would play, and you wouldn't know it was Batman and Robin until like they cut in. We're doing like the swing. They were swinging on the rope, and I just always remember being like, "Oh, Batman and Robin are on this one."
Next up, I had never heard of this ever, and this cover took me off guard. July 30th, they're doing War of the Buttons from 1994. This has a trailer on it, but that is it. So this one says, no stones and slingshots, no skirmishes too late in the day. They are the rules of war for the youngsters of 2 neighboring Irish villages. And here's another rule. If you spit shake on something, you better follow through. Kids will be kids, but sometimes they, in their own fanciful ways, will be adults. What's unique and marvelous here, Oscar-winning Chariots of Fire screenwriter Colin Wayland says, is that it's not an adult view of childhood at all, but a child's view of adulthood. This says Oscar winner David Putnam for a winning tale in which buttons are the gods of a would-be war. The rival teams are screen newcomers, but you wouldn't know it from their seasoned performances.
Did you put the buttons on there?
I did not.
Okay, I thought you did because they was going to get flagged for their
No, that is the actual cover.
Okay. That's pretty funny.
I agree with this, Brad. Zombie Island might be better than Jaws. Cibener's face just dropped.
I mean, look, you do enjoy your stream. The Midnight Boys, whatever what it is.
Next title, The Stars Fell on Henrietta with Robert Duvall, Aidan Quinn, Francis Fisher, Brian Dennehy. This one has the trailer as well. This is from 1995. A couple of newer films coming from them. Any thoughts on this one?
Here's the thing: is that looking at the cover, I feel like as a kid, I have a slight memory seeing the VHS box at the store, and it was just completely did not grab my attention. But the cast is amazing. I mean, you can't, I mean, this is And this is definitely like at that, which is like, what is this, 95? Oh, I
95.
thought if I hadn't thought that, I would have thought it was like 87 or something like that. It has that. It just the I can just see the giant clamshell VHS box with stuff like this, and that coloring, like that, like sepia coloring. It's almost like old Yeller.
Oh yeah.
And you got Francis. I mean, because this is, I mean, that would be so Francis Fisher. So there's 2 years right before she's probably just starting to shoot Titanic now.
Yeah, probably.
Now.
Knowing Cameron, yeah.
Yeah. And then you got Aiden Quinn, because Aiden Quinn, like, I mean, it's around the same time, but I just remember, I thought this was around like The Mission.
Not quite.
Yeah, no. And Brian Dennehy, yeah. Robert.
Good cast.
Robert Duvall.
Next one, 85 now. Marie, a true story starring Sissy Spacek. This one will have the original trailer as well, and includes Morgan Freeman, Jeff Daniels, and screen debuting Fred Thompson, later a Tennessee senator.
Fred, you know who Fred Thompson is. You've seen this stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Fred Thompson of Die Hard 2, Die Harder, In the Line of Fire, and a gazillion episodes of Law & Order.
Gotta love the Law and Order love.
Absolutely. I have not seen this, but I would absolutely. This is like if I'm gonna blind buy something, like these are the types of films, like that kind of
same.
Yeah, like 80s to mid 90s, like these types of performers. I'd be like, yeah,
solid drama. Heck yeah.
Yeah, melodramas, anything like that. Like The Rain People. I had never seen it, but I'll definitely be picking that up. And Warner Archive is always great with their transfers.
Yeah, and man, they've been doing really well lately with their transfers. Like they were always good, but some of the stuff recently have looked very good.
Is it just my imagination? They did cut their staff by a whole lot, but wasn't there a point where they were just going to stop altogether?
There was rumors for that because they let what his name is? It George Feltenstein or whatever his name is. He was gone literally, and they brought him back, and now they've like exploded in the amount of work they're doing.
I'm so happy. Like I remember when that happened. I was like, it was a certain period of time where it wasn't just them; there were like other people being let go. I think it was around the same time that Criterion cut like 20% of their staff or something like that. And
yeah, it was right around the same time.
Yeah.
Homo erectus, why can't video rental stores come back? Well, good news. You can rent from the TerraVision store in Chicago. You can rent from Scarecrow Video anywhere in the U.S. They will send it to you. You can send it back. There's quite a few that are, not proliferated through the U.S. with 2,500 locations, but there are some options out there. Check them out.
I mean, the trouble is it's real estate.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because you either have stores in major cities and the real estate is astronomical, and it's really unfortunate. Anyone who's been to New York lately or lives around here, you'll see it's just so many buildings, massive amounts of commercial real estate. They're just like, everything's for lease, but no one's going in because the people that own the buildings can just write it off as a loss. So until someone matches their astronomical rental prices, they don't care. And then it's either that or, the cheaper plots of land, but then you're in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, who's going to drive to the video store these days? Blockbuster had that ability to just be popping up like zits all over the. By the way, I actually just rewatched for the second time the last Blockbuster. I think it was on YouTube. I had originally seen it was on Netflix, but have you seen that one?
I think I started it but did not finish it because it was on Netflix and Hulu for a while, I think. Yeah. Now I don't think it's anywhere, right?
It's on YouTube. You just watch it on YouTube. Yeah. It's all the familiar people you would know that would be talking about physical media. It's Kevin Smith and the like. But I just again, it was like one thing I just put on in the background, but I was like, oh, I really there's something like we get a lot of those ETR docs on the video store and stuff like that. But this was really about this, the lady who like runs the last Blockbuster.
Brendan is giving a shout out. Videotech in LA is an amazing rental store.
Nice.
I've heard it's great. I've also heard starting soon you might be able to pick up a certain magazine at the Videotech.
Oh, Very nice.
Might be rumored to be coming. Maybe at Cinephile and Vidiots too. Like we're kind of working on all three of those.
You should talk to Alamo, see if they can the Kim's video, have that up on the.
That would be nice. Maybe I'll have a friend that lives in New York do it for me.
I don't know how I can talk.
Next up from them is the next Elvis title with Harem Scarum from 1965. This one is not rated, so be careful. Special features: Tom and Jerry cartoons, the cat's Meowch, and a feline bondage.
Wow.
Bondage.
That's not what I expected from the King. Yeah.
Are you super big into Elvis?
When I was a young whippersnapper, yes. When I was a kid, I was obsessed. Like around anywhere from like 10 to 17. I was just, my mom got me this big coffee table book. This had a giant gold record on the front, and there's all the pictures of Graceland and stuff like that. I remember, this is an embarrassing thing. So we were at a thrift store and they had an 8x10 glossy of young Elvis. And in my childhood mind, the way that I equated this was said, no, this is a photo of Elvis. He was there when he took this. This is the photo, thinking it's the original photo. I didn't get prints. That didn't register with me. So I thought I was finding this rare thing, and I had his picture up in my bedroom. Like all these different 8x10s. There was a store in New York that used to be able to buy headshots of all these different actors, and I would just go buy. It was like $5 a piece, and I would just go and find my favorite actors and get them framed, these 8x10s, and also the Ninja Turtles World Tour autograph.
I still have a picture from I think I was 3 or 4 of sitting in a pizza store, and somebody came in dressed in a Leonardo costume, and I was crying because I was scared to death.
Was he at least your favorite?
I think so. Maybe. I think.
Yeah. I was a Raphael. I was a Raphael kid.
I don't have 3 years older than me. Well.
It makes sense now. Now it makes sense.
Idiot's Delight from 1939 is coming as well. Norma Shearer, Clark Gable, starring in this one. This one is a pretty big deal. We got classic cartoons in this one as well. The Good Egg and It's an Ill Wind. Clark Gable. This one looks pretty good.
I mean, I do like It Happened One Night.
Of course.
Right. Classic. I've still not seen Gone with the Wind, and I don't feel bad about that, but I will at some point.
I'm sure most people don't feel bad about not seeing it.
Yeah, no. But my question to you is, how many of these do you think Criterion starts crying over that they didn't get?
Nowadays, probably none.
You think none? I feel like a lot of these titles are like, oh, we would have liked to have put that out, except Warner Brothers doesn't like to play as nice with their stuff.
Nowadays, with how much they seem to be struggling, the fact that they just had to sell, I feel like, sure, they might be like, yeah, that would have been fun, but also, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, Dallas, Raphael, all the way.
No extras, though, right? We got some cartoons on stuff.
This is one of those things where I will not bat an eye if it's 0 extras, because I've just been accustomed to it since collecting Warner Archive. It's just because this was when I started collecting Warner Archive, like when I first started really getting into boutique Blu-rays, was this and Kino, and you just knew it was like, look, Kino has the worst spine art, and it's boring, Ryan. It is boring.
It's so uniform.
It's just Times New Roman.
I like things that are the same.
That's all it is. Yeah, it's all great in a row, and then you're like, hey, which one do I want? And you can't find because your eyes are blurring from all the white and black text. But between that and Warner Archive, it was 0. You just knew. You're like, be thankful you're getting the film.
Right, and with Warner Archive, when they do go all out for special features, some of these releases are really nice. The radio plays that they get the audio from, those are always a welcome addition because you don't really get those in great condition anymore. Man,
the chat. I know. They are. I know. I know. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised, and it's okay. You can all hate on me for it. It's just, and we are in agreement. We're talking about the old black and white spines. We're not talking about the new ones, like the slipcover spines and stuff like that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the old. It's like, Jeff, you've got to have one on hand. Just
I see them. I'm just saying the new ones. They're not all different, are they?
we're not like, but most of the times now you get a slipcover. You get some stylized
Right.
text. I'm talking about those plain black and white, like the way that like the darker side of cinema texts are.
Right.
I don't even know if it's Times New Roman. Maybe it's Helvetica. I don't know. Kino spines are hot. Thank you. Thank you. But no, honestly, look, I know people that love to put them all in a row, and I get it. It's just
All right. We got one more Warner Archive. Let's argue
all right,
about that one.
go.
Northwest Passage from 1940, starring Spencer Tracy, is also coming. This one is coming with 4K scans, the original nitrate Technicolor negatives. We got a vintage promotional featurette, Northward Ho, and then an original theatrical trailer. Spencer Tracy, like that's enough for many people, obviously.
Well, Spencer Tracy, very much. I mean, I've never seen the film, so it's kind of looking a little like almost like. Now I'm seeing it clear, but at first it looked like Peter Pan.
Yeah. Here, I could do this too.
Anthony. I appreciate it. Book 1, Rogers. So there's going to be more. Book 1.
I don't think that means there's going to be more.
Again, I'm completely in the dark on this. So if I'm sounding completely uneducated about Northwest Passage and Spencer Tracy, I think Warner argues this. And again, Warner Archive, the fact that they have these amazing, bit rates, and it's like if they're gonna like you said, they put the shorts on there sometimes, but if not, it's just like, look, I know I'm gonna get a good transfer. So at the end of the day, I can't fault them that.
Ryan. Oh God, I love you, Ryan. Let's go. We got some heavy hitters and only an hour left.
Yeah.
Boy Kills World from last year, and technically most people probably saw it this year. Coming on 4K from Lionsgate on July 9th. I can't find any extras listed, which I kind of thought for this one they would have leaned into it, knowing Lionsgate, but nothing. I've heard pretty good things about this.
That's not my Topanga right there. That is not my Topanga.
Did you happen to see your Topanga, or did you see this one?
No, I was interested. It came and went. It was this was like an unfortunate thing of there's other films I want to see. And by the time this was the last one on the list, it was gone. Did you see it?
I did not. It did premiere here in Kansas City, though.
Oh, which Skarsgård is that again?
Bill, I think.
Is that Bill Skarsgård? Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
no, I've just recently been inundated with that horrendous trailer for the Crow remake. So I'm just seeing his face is giving me bad vibes. But however, what's her name that we are both a fan of is in this. I forgot her name. I feel terrible. What's her name?
Jessica Roth.
Yes, thank you. Because that's not Jessica Roth with the grenade launcher, right?
Nope.
No, yeah. But Jessica Roth, I'm just happy she's getting work because she needs more work.
I agree.
She's just I will promote Happy Death Day 1 and 2.
All right, let's go to the big scandalous title that everybody exploded over yesterday. Friends, the complete series, coming on 4K September 24th. These did get restorations. The rumor is that they are the extended episodes again and not just what they showed on TV. Cannot find a source for that, so I'm not saying that officially. But from what I can tell, this does look to be a major update towards the Blu-ray release, which was kind of a botched piece of junk. I know a lot of people hate Friends. Friends happens to be the only happy memory I have with my nuclear family growing up. How do you feel about Friends?
I am proud to say that I watched the pilot episode premiere in real time.
Nice.
And I like to say that I fell in love with Rachel before anyone else. I like to claim that, but I know it's not true. Just real quick, Sound Mandible, that's all cool. If you don't like the original Crow remake, it's all right. I love the original Crow. As far as this goes, The one where everyone lost their shit over a release. This has got to be like what, $400? I mean,
The Amazon pre-order has it for $250,
and
it'll probably come down.
This, I can't believe I'm going to say, because obviously we're on a physical media stream right now, but this is one of those situations where I would insist that a set like that come with digital codes.
Yeah, I would understand that.
And it won't, because I know whoever has the contract for streaming is probably like, no, you can't do that.
Well, and it's Warner; they've been taking those away more and more, anyways.
Yeah, but TV for me is like one of those times where it's like you just got to have a digital code. Like, I love having it because obviously I can have it and never be without it. But for convenience sake, it's, like, look, I'm going to bed, I'm flossing, I want to watch something. I don't want to go grab my giant mega box of Friends and, have to find disc 2 of season 3 and, the one with the lobster.
Yes, this is going to be a very expensive thing for them to do. I'm very curious to see how this thing sells, because this is the first full run of a quote classic TV show that is coming in 4K.
Okay.
There's been some modern things where seasons have come in 4K. Game of Thrones came in 4K, stuff like that. But this is the first like classic show to come in 4K, and to have something that was shot on film for 10 seasons that was incredibly popular.
Mm-hmm.
This is the sort of thing that could like make certain Gen X people go out and buy a 4K player.
It is very possible, yeah. Of all the shows, and I'll say this: I cannot believe. I know you loved it; it was your happy memory, and I grew up loving it. And I stopped watching around season 6 or so. I just grew out.
The first 5 were really the only great ones.
Yeah, like when Paul Rudd came out, like I already dipped out on that. But the fact that this is still such a mammoth hit, like we had a Friends experience in New York. Like, that's just all it is. You go and you sit in Central Perk,
right?
And, like, they're gonna sell this, it's absolutely gonna sell. And the fact that, hey, look, it's a nice square or cube, like rectangular box. It's not a long box. If this were a long box, I would have been gravely disappointed.
I still haven't seen for sure how many discs it's going to be. This is going to be huge.
I would have to. Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, the other thing is the way they had that shaped up. It looks like it's hopefully like individual, like maybe 3 or 4 like different cases, and not like one of those ungodly like
stacked with 12 discs on each side.
Oh, like the Twilight Zone thing they did, or like The Walking Dead, because that was the most recent. The Walking Dead did that, and that was like 50 discs, like a hoagie.
We got a question from Cloud Mage. Could you choose 2 or 3 shows that you'd want to see get the same kind of treatment?
Like a 4K treatment, or just like a complete
comprehensive 4K box set.
4K box set. Can you think of any right off the top of your head?
Bonanza.
Oh,
that was a joke. I only say that because the DVD box set is literally like this long.
Well, it would be smaller because you could actually fit more on those discs. So it actually
theoretically, yes,
smaller.
I would love to see like the first 2 seasons of Sopranos. Don't look all that great, and I bet they could do well with a good restoration. And the rumor is that might be being worked on.
That'd be good. Oh, Dallas beat me to Buffy and Angel, and I don't know if anyone's familiar with that mess that they did with that when they tried to do the high def transfers. You know that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and they tried to do like the widescreen thing. And they realized, oh wait, this was shot for 4:3, and there's crew members off to the side.
Yep.
So that would Homo erectus beat me to it. Also, don't beat me to it. Yes, Quantum Leap, one of my favorite shows of all time. Absolutely. Though I heard I haven't really like dug through them, but the is it Mill Creek who put them out? The whole series?
Yes, I think so.
I've heard they're not bad. Like they are from the original negatives.
Tales from the Crypt, unfortunately, for everybody saying Tales from the Crypt, is probably never going to happen.
Good call. I skipped down on a DVD set at Housing Works because I thought maybe they would eventually come out with that, but that's a good call. 4K Twilight Zone would be
That'd be a big deal. That'd be a big deal.
That'd be great. I would. Batman the Animated Series. I mean, it already looks good, but I would love that.
Yeah.
I do love How I Met Your Mother. I really would like that to be in high def. That'd be nice to see.
All right.
They're only on DVD. They're not even on Blu-ray.
That's enough about Friends. Friends has caused a hell of a stir. Point Break is getting a 4K release in the UK from Kaleidoscope Films on August 5th. There, as far as I can tell, nothing new for special features, but there are some limited posters and art cards with this release. But it's the first time that it's going to be on 4K in the UK, so that's nice.
I'm glad they're getting it. I still have to. I haven't grabbed it from Screen Factory yet. By the way, Craig, also, yes, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. That's a good call.
That'd be great. Hell, I'd love a Blu-ray of every episode.
Absolutely. There's so much bonus stuff that you can get from that. Man.
June 18th, Oscilloscope.
You keep passing me over for no. The horse sex episode is the one that I'm going to get down.
Let's
know
be honest,
your audience.
I never passed you over. Piaf, I think is how you say this. I don't know. This is coming on June 18th from Oscilloscope. We got interview with the director Ann Oren on this, some video journals. For anybody that is looking at this cover and saying, what the hell is this? Introverted and unqualified, Ava is unexpectedly tasked with foleying the sounds for a commercial featuring a horse. As she slowly acclimates to the new job, her obsession with creating the perfect equine sounds grows into something more tangible. Ava harnesses this new physicality, becoming more confident and empowered, and lures an unassuming botanist into an intriguing game of submission. And this was shot on 16 millimeter.
Yeah, so who is it? New World Pictures podcast? Is she pooping a blanket?
Well, and I was going to zoom in on the one comment that you can read.
It looks like she just... I mean, it does, but I mean, I don't know who's pooping out their back, but okay. You might need to do something about that.
That is a horse tail.
Yes, and I actually have a friend who saw this, and I didn't flash in my mind until I saw the announcement. I was like, oh, that movie. And it's exactly what you think. It is. She's got a horse tail. Yes, it is. And there is, from my horse girl's coming up this movie.
Oh man, that's great.
And then what was it? The Klaus Kinski movie that got announced was the composer.
Yep,
that's got full on horse sex right there. So you're just
Hey, Civil War, we talked about this earlier. Yeah, this is coming. We got some release dates. July 9th, 4K and Blu-ray from Lionsgate and A24. This is getting an Amazon exclusive, and that Amazon exclusive will be a different cover option, and then it will also have a director and cast Q&A. But the cool thing, Torn Asunder is a documentary, Waging Alex Garland's Civil War 6-part documentary that we are getting on this, which... I got to admit, I kind of want to watch the documentary.
If this is anything compared to what he has made for Ridley Scott's films, we are in. You may not like the film as much as I did, but I'm telling you, this thing is going to be like this is what I dream about when I want a special feature. Have you seen his other docs?
What else has he done?
He did Dark Days, The Making of Blade Runner.
Okay.
Which was like a 3 or 4 hour documentary with all this archival footage. He did, he's done a lot of Ridley Scott's things. I'm looking at my Scott collection right now. What else did he did? Oh shoot, what else did he do? He did one for The Martian. I think he did one for Kingdom of Heaven. He did one for Gladiator, maybe. They're just.
I think I saw the Gladiator one.
Yeah, they're just really robust. Like it's every possible. It's fly on the wall. It's fly on the wall footage. Like and just like that's what I look for, and especially with something like this. Like they're gonna have like, travel journals and stuff like that. I can't wait.
Sam?
So I may not even go for the Amazon exclusive. I don't need a Q&A with the cast if that's really what it is, because that's enough Civil War for me.
Hey, I put up an interview with Paul Rust this week. I hope you check this out. Love is a show that hit real hard, and for all of us that love physical media, not only does Paul Rust love physical media in real life, Love is a story about him, and there's Blu-ray jokes from literally episode 1, and it got 3 seasons on Netflix and did very well. He was also in Inglourious Bastards, helped write Pee-wee's Big Holiday. He is just an incredibly sweet person. He came to the interview prepared with his favorite physical media releases to highlight. Like, that's how great this was.
And they are deep cut. They are deep cut. It's not what you think it is not what you think it's going to be. It is his character from Love. That is clearly him. That is some dedication. Yeah, no, if you haven't watched the interview, it is. I watched it last night. It's a lot of fun. And he brings never a dull moment. And thank you, Stan. Yes. Thank you, Stan. Dangerous Days. Yes, I always mix that up. Yes, Dangerous Days, the making of Blade Runner.
All right, next up, Glenn Ross. This so many people pissed off about this. July 29th on Blu-ray in the UK from 101 Films as part of their Black Label series. This is getting a whole bunch of special features that we already have elsewhere. And it's on Blu-ray, not 4K. And it's 101 Films, which every release they do, people find something wrong with it.
Like a critical something wrong, or the fact that, like, is this an Arrow situation where they left out subtitles?
Like the wrong aspect ratio? That's a
okay. Well, yeah. You spoiled that for me after I bought Fear City.
Fear City, yeah.
So I would never have known.
Yeah, this is. I know a lot of people love Will with the joke that says 4K is for closers.
Nice.
This is one of those titles that a lot of people would love 4K for, so I get it.
Do you think when for me though, it's like it's been a while, but it's like, is this the thing that needs 4K?
I mean, it's shot well. And the way that they, like, a lot of the close-ups and stuff, I guarantee would do better with higher clarity.
I think I'm just one of those people. It's like, for me, it's like, so like 4K is, for me, I think when I think 4K, I think like really like a lot of movement, a lot of action, cinematic. And when I think of Glenn Ross, I think of more like, it's a play. It's a play on film.
Right.
So I'm more about the dialogue. I'm less about I can see their pores, you know.
I agree with that. However, I will say action is not the only thing that benefits from 4K. Got to defend some of those. But the biggest thing for me is, like, what can we do with an expanded color palette? If it's something as a darker film, that's the one that usually benefits the most.
Right. Yeah, no, I can see that. I'm sure 4K would look, but again, remember, we don't know what the condition of the negative is.
Right.
You know, and again, I'm sure they preserved it well enough, but
Brad from TerraVision says, I personally don't think it's about the film for a certain type of film. It's the future of home video.
As far as, Brad, just to clarify, are you saying like that 4K is the future, or is it more about this is the way to preserve film from its truest nature? Because obviously Brad knows how to handle film, properly, whereas like some people will like oversaturate or do things and like, turn it up to 11, and it's like, it no longer looks like the film. I'm not going to get into grain. I'm not getting into a fucking grain discussion.
Well, the big thing, this is a 1992 film. We should be able to have people that worked on this film be able to supervise everything.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get an Alec Baldwin audio commentary.
Not quite what I meant, but
no, I know what you meant. Yeah, Ryan.
Maybe Alec Baldwin's feeling a little rusty.
Oh, wow.
Go to the next one. Indicator, today they announced that they are putting out a box set called The Complete Confessions. This is coming out August 19th. This is only coming in the UK, and this is a sex comedy box set with confessions of a window cleaner, confessions of a pop performer, confessions of a driving instructor, and confessions from a holiday camp.
This reminds me of another set they did. You might have to fill it in because I can't remember that. But was it the British Sex Comedy Collection? it was like Tales of a Taxi Driver or something like that.
Yes.
It's been on sale a couple of times with their thing. And I'm always tempted because I love me a good 60s, sex comedy from the UK, but I can't tell if it's like the same collection. Do you know what I'm talking? Yeah.
I think they're similar style at least. I'm trying. The not having the name is killing me.
I mean, the cover is definitely the same artist. It has to.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like Taxi Cab Confessional or something like that. Yeah.
That's a late night movie on HBO. Stanley Long's Adventures.
Thank you. Yeah.
70s sex comedy threesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Brian, or no, that's Ronnie. Ronnie says, I've seen the first one of these, pretty silly, but the women were beautiful.
Interesting. I mean, I am swayed by a great cover art, and I do love these kind of like Mad Magazine style.
I agree, yeah.
Again, I'm not going to jump on it like right away, but like if I saw that if they had this in the indicator sale, I would absolutely be tempted. Just because, yeah, why not?
Chris says Long Stanley is a very different film. Yes, it is. Brendan says, I love Indicator, but this is not what I want from them. Okay, but maybe it's what Indicator wants to put out.
I get that. The thing with Indicator, at least, I feel like they have eclectic taste, whereas there are other labels right now that are really leaning heavily towards one style. Like, right. I wouldn't say that, like, just because they put this out doesn't mean that the next tile is going to be like they just announced the Bruiser.
They've proven that. I mean, they did that Stanley Long's Adventures like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And this is the first thing that was similar to that.
Yeah. Like the last announcement, the last big one announcement from them was like George Romero's Bruiser. And then, we've had the Jean Roland films. So whereas like Eureka, has just been, really about a lot of the martial arts films. What was your nickname?
Long Stanley was Stan's nickname.
Oh, as opposed to Stanley Long, who is Jeremy's great-great-grandfather. Never mind.
I wish Jeremy was watching.
No, he saw my name. He was like, I'm out.
Yep. Brad is a big Bruiser fan. And then the other title they announced is Guest House Paradiso. This is using the same Vinegar Syndrome 4K scan. This is coming out with a couple new things. We got an interview with Simon Pegg. I can't remember if that was on the VS one. I think it was. But we've got an interview with Sean Barton on this one, interview with Tom Brown. Those are both new. And then new and improved English subs and a limited booklet with some archival articles on the making of the film and a new essay by John Robertson. Did you watch this one? Did you get this one?
I have never seen this film, never heard of this film. I know you seem shocked.
Kind of, because it was announced last year from Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh no, I mean in terms of like my personal, like I have not seen. Like I mean, again, if it doesn't grab my attention, unless I'm going back over it through like a sale or something like that, it's out of my brain.
Right.
I keep a list of like my wish list for the year when things get announced with release dates, and I put a little green check mark
get it.
Everything, and something like this is just based on that cover art is probably not the type of thing I would probably be. I mean, have you seen this?
I have not yet. I did want to watch it because Rick Mayall played a big part of my childhood. I love Drop Dead Fred. And
is that okay? That's who that is. Okay, that's Fred. Got it.
A lot of people not liking this art. What's wrong with it?
It's just got one of those like what was the movie that Dana Carvey made where he was a spy in disguise?
Oh God. Masters of Disguise. I saw a live taping of How'd This Get Made where they talked about that one. I still couldn't remember the title of it. Moving right along, No Way Out coming from Kino on 4K and Blu-ray on July 30th. This gets a new audio commentary by Steve Mitchell and writer-actor Richard Brewer, and then some archival extras, including an audio commentary by the director on the Blu-ray. This was announced a while ago, so we're just finding out the date that it's coming out. Yeah.
This is a poster it just is ingrained in my childhood. I go to the video
Same.
store and I walk by and that poster is on. I remember I walked in, it's right there on the ceiling, like it's like cardboard one, and it's just kind of tilted at an angle. That right there also contains one of the greatest crotch kicks of all time. Like someone just gets. I remember just watching it, like that is the hardest nut kick I've ever seen.
Yeah.
On film. So if you're not sold by that, I don't know what, next Kino sale. Come on, get on it.
Well, it's the height of Kevin Costner, which is why Anthony says I'm obviously buying this.
It is an odd film though, of his filmography. Have you seen it?
I don't think I have. I may have, but I'm not remembering it.
For me, it's like this. Like this is to me like what Presumed Innocent is for Harrison Ford. Like they're those films that I'm like, oh, that's just an outlier. It feels so weird. Like
right.
It just doesn't sit with all the other Costner films I've seen. And just like Presumed Innocent is just a little too dry for me in the Harrison Ford filmography.
But also Mr. Brooks fits perfect.
Oh, Mr. Brooks is an unsung masterpiece. Mr. Brooks has no right to be as good as it is.
Agreed.
With Dane Cook in it, like it just has no, like it should not work, and yet it does.
It is surprisingly great.
Yes, that needs a 4K.
Last thing we're going to talk about: Paramount announced a replacement program for the Titanic 4K today. Digital Bits announced this and wanted to pass it along. All it is there are 3 lines of background dialogue, like Leonardo DiCaprio says, "Let's go." Somebody says something else, and then Leo again says, "Let's go," and you just don't hear it. And so they're replacing the entire 4K. If you want, you can click on the link, sign up for it. And I don't know if they're going to fix it, but for now, at least, I didn't have to put in any proof of purchase. Do with that what you may, but I didn't have to prove anything yet.
I would just get a screenshot from Amazon because that's where I got my copy. But
yeah, that's all you got to do. Screenshot of your receipt.
I want to know the loyal fan that watched this and found it and was like, "Hey, the background actor didn't. The ADR dialogue is not there."
Yeah,
it's not the guys on like the Watchtower. It's like iceberg street.
You're not even seeing mouths move without sound. That's the funniest part.
You know who probably wrote in? It was probably Cameron.
Hey, I happen to notice.
John Dameron. Yes, I noticed your disc was a little faulty.
No, knowing him, it'd be Jimmy that he would write in under.
Yeah.
Jimmy Demeron.
Okay.
Looking at what is coming next week, we got some heavy hitters. Bad Lieutenant 4K from Kino. Fear and Loathing 4K Criterion, Rango 4K, which I cannot wait to see. The Platoon 4K.
I know.
You've never seen Rango.
I've never seen Rango. I know. I know.
Can I just say how beautiful it is that Fear and Loathing and Rango are coming out on the same day?
I've held off on Fear and Loathing so many times because I love that artwork, and I didn't want to go with the Arrow one, even though I know that the bit rate, the transfer at first was better, and there was a bit rate, and then special features are all different between the Criterion and the Arrow one. And even when they came out with the special edition, I was just like, no, I'm just gonna hold off. At this point, I'm just gonna hold off. And then Criterion finally announced that. It's like, yes, because I love the old DVD with the slipcover, with the translucent slipcover,
right?
For Fear and Loathing. Trailer for Rango is terrible, but the movie. That's a lot of Gore Verbinski's movies do not get good trailers. They don't add well. Like the same thing with a Guide to Wellness. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Is that the name? A guide? Yeah. Keep going. I'll figure it.
Let's see. Platoon 4K Steelbook goes wide next week. Glory 4K Steelbook from Sony. Death Machine from Kino. I know a lot of people have been waiting on that one, so make sure you want that slipcover. I see Death Machine going quickly if you're after that slipcover. Pursued with Robert Mitchum from Kino next week.
Mm-hmm.
Saigon next week. Magnificent 7 4K Steelbook from Shout. Typhoon Club 4K from Cinema Guild. Perfect Weapon from Kino.
Speaking of
Never
my
opened that.
childhood,
What's that?
trailer of him spinning those sticks. That's my childhood.
Flicker Alley's never opened that door. That one is they don't do very much, so when they do, that's a big one to support. Danza Macabre Volume 3 from Severin. Back to the Future, they're re-releasing the trilogy on 4K. The Hour Before the Dawn from Kino. The Chase from Kino. Kino puts out so many titles. Ugh.
And
The old
I'm interested to see Founders Day. I know I heard it's terrible, but I'm interested to see it.
I have heard it's bad.
Yeah.
The Old Oak and Lost Souls, those are both Kino as well. La Chimera, I think that's coming from the studio, if I remember right. But yeah,
MOD.
it is MOD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any that you got coming already from this batch?
Not. I'm also come the Barnes and Noble sale that Fear and Loathing will be mine. I have Bad Lieutenant already at the studio release, so I will probably upgrade to my Able for R collection, but I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll snag it right away.
Right.
What else do we have down there?
I'm
gonna scroll with my fingers. Scroll.
Typhoon Club, Perfect Weapon, never open.
I got the Typhoon Club from Third Window, so I'm good. I love Back to the Future. I was just thinking about the other day how much I love Back to the Future, but I have bought that trilogy so many goddamn times that it's like I don't need, because every Black Friday I know eventually someone's gonna be like, "Hey, $25, just Amazon's gonna be like, just do you want Back to the Future 4K?" And I'm just at this point I'm fine with the Blu-ray for now. I will eventually cave and get the 4K, but.
Before we get into our topic,
Yes.
some of the films you've worked on, could you share with the group, or should I go read the list?
The list. I'd probably say the highlights. The fun highlights are Men in Black 3. I need the list. I got my SAG card through A Beautiful Mind, so that's probably the biggest spotlight. Fair Game, not the Cindy Crawford movie, the one with Sean Penn and Naomi Watts. You have the list. Yeah, you go through. I have. All of a sudden, it's like, excuse me while I access my resume right here on my phone. Yeah, no. Whatever I wrote down there. You Don't Know Jack, which is probably my most memorable experience, which is with Al Pacino, where I actually worked on a scene with Al Pacino. Did you want me to tell some story, or I feel like I'm running?
Sure can.
Okay, I'll tell a real quick story because I don't want us to run it because I know you got the stream to go on. So basically, my best experience ever. So I was at an audition, got a phone call from a casting office, and they said, "Hey, are you available to be a photo double tomorrow?" And if anyone's not familiar with being a photo double, basically they usually you look like the actor well enough that they shoot you from a distance, and that's basically it. You're a glorified stand-in. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely, I can do it." And she said, "And you're an actor, right? You're like a real actor." And I said, "Yeah, I'm a real actor." Okay. She's like, "Okay, great. Call this number. Da 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 da." I show up the next morning. I had like a 6-7 a.m. call at the pickup van because this was out on Long Island, and I noticed that I'm either number one or number two on the call sheet, and that just doesn't happen. Number one or number two is like the leads. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm exhausted. I don't know what's going on. And then I get to set, and I didn't get to set. They get to the makeup chair, and they pull me into the makeup chair, and I have like 3 or 4 people all working on me, like all cutting my hair, and like giving me this buzz cut. And I'm like, can we cut your hair? I'm like, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. It's like, so I'm just sitting there, and they're going over me with like a fine tooth comb, like, no, he's got to look like this. And they have a photo of this guy who doesn't look very healthy, and they're like, okay, he's got to look like this, and they're doing all the makeup on me and stuff like that. And then they're like, "Oh, well, Dan," one of the PAs comes up and like, "Dan, well, that's John Goodman there." I was just like, "Oh, hi," and he looks like he's dead asleep. I said, "He's preparing. I don't want to bother him." I'm like, "Nice to meet you." And then they handed me the sides. Again, yeah, sides, but what do I need these for? And then one of the, it was like the second or third AD like runs in. They're just like, "Hey, we need Daniel, on set now." And And I'm like, what is going on? No one has told me anything. So they pulled me into this like converted, it's like a log cabin, it's like a restaurant. They've gutted the whole thing out. It's just a green screen. I'm wearing a green t-shirt, by the way. It's a green screen, a table, and 3 chairs. And they walk me over. Do we know how many times? I don't know, because Brad tells me nothing. So they walk me over to the monitor, and they're like, Dan, this is Barry Levinson. I'm like, oh, hi. And then he just looks at me and goes, watch this. I'm like, okay. And they proceed to play this footage of the man from the photograph who is looking deathly ill. And I start to slowly realize, oh, this is not an actor. This is real footage. And he can barely get his breath out. He's really having trouble. He has some type of like muscular dystrophy or something like that. He like really can't move it. And he's basically declaring like, I want to die. I want to end this. And it's like, you can hear a pin drop. Like everyone's just watching this footage. And then Barry Levinson pauses the screen and goes, you can do this, right? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I need you to recreate that. And of course, like every well-trained actor, I said, yes, of course I can. Can I watch it once more? And so he's like, yeah, here, have my seat. So I sit down there. He's like, watch it a couple of times. I'm like, okay. I start watching it, and I'm like, I'll freak out later. I can't freak out now. And so I start like, I'm like, all right. He's not really saying much, but his movements, like, I'm like, all right, you need to be very specific. I'm like, okay, cool. I think I'm ready. Yeah, I can do it. And they sit me in at the table, and there's a woman to my left playing my wife. And so I'm like doing like all my impediment training and stuff like that, and really trying to get my muscles stiff and doing those things. And they sit this guy next to me who is in a lot of makeup, and they're like, oh, hey, this is Dan. He's gonna be working with you. And the guy like waves me, he's like, hi. I was like, yeah, not now. I'm preparing. Like, so as I'm like preparing, and then like he leans over to me, and he's not obviously in character at the moment. He has the voice, and I immediately recognize the voice. You can't not recognize it. He goes, so you and I are gonna have some fun today, playing off of each other. And I just slowly look over at him, and he's like winking at me through the makeup. Like, oh, you're Al Pacino. I'm like, okay. This is what we're gonna do. Okay. I'm like, yeah.
Just normal day.
Yeah, like, yeah, I just gotta prepare whatever it is. So they start rolling, and I'll see like those long pauses. I said, hey Barry, I was like, do you need me to do those long pauses? Like he's like, or you just want me to do the lines and you'll cut around? He goes, no, I need you to do the whole these very elongated stretches of like, pain and suffering. Like he's working off of you. I'm like, okay. So we do the whole thing. We do it a couple times, and I'm like, and it's going fine. And then I start like thinking to myself, I'm like, it feels a little off in this place. I'm just talking to myself. And Al Pacino like leans over and he goes, oh, you feeling you could do it better? I was like, yeah, I feel like the timing's a little off. He's like, yeah. Well, why don't you and I try something? He's like, I do the line here, and then you try. So he's like working with me, and then he's finally he goes, yeah, that sounds better. Barry, we're gonna do it again. He's like, no, Al, we're good. We're moving on. He's like, no, Dan and I want to do another take. He's like, oh, okay, let's roll, okay. And so they do it again, and it goes fine. And then they go, that's it. We got it. And he goes, he's like, really, already? We never go that fast. And years later, he's like, good job, really, really good job. So, and I'm like on cloud 9. I'm like ready to I'm on cloud 9, and I'm ready to shit a brick. And at the same time, they take me back to my trailer, and I'm so in shock that I miss my van going home. No one comes to get me. I'm sitting in my trailer for like 4 hours in complete shock.
Taking long breaths and dying. Yeah.
Yes, and then I stick my head out of the trailer. I go like, hey, and it's like, it's getting to be nighttime. I'm like, is anyone gonna get me? And the PA sees me. She goes, you're still here? You were supposed to go home hours ago. I'm like, oh, okay. And as like we're getting collected to go home, these people keep looking at me. The background actors are looking at me, and they're like, I'm like, why are you looking at me that way? And they're like, you're the guy. I was like, what do you mean I'm the guy? They're like, you're the guy from the scene. They're like, you were playing your footage in the setup from the, that we were doing. And they were like, look, it's so good. It looks so good. So long story short, if you see, you don't know Jack, you're not going to see me. Basically, they Gollum me. They Andy Serkis to me. So when you see Al Pacino responding to this guy and like touching him on the shoulder and stuff like that, it's me that he's doing it with. But you're going to basically, see the actual guy, the unfortunate guy who wanted to die. So
what a sad ending to that story.
I know. But it's still one of the highlights of thank you. It's one of the highlights of my career thus far. So yeah. So again, I don't want to waste too much time. So that's the big story that I tell people if you want to hear like one of those stories.
What about any of the Spider-Man work?
Did a couple days on Spider-Man 2 up at Columbia. And the highlight to that is that it was like the first day of shooting. So I saw Doc Connors before anyone saw Doc Connors. So I saw Dylan Baker with his missing arm.
Nice.
I immediately thought that the Lizard was going to show up. And then we were hanging outside and we were basically inundating Sam Raimi with like questions about Evil Dead 3 and how they need to put Venom in the next Spider-Man. So I'm sorry for that I ever suggested such a thing. One thing about him that is, I don't know if they talk about it. Yeah, Dylan Baker is amazing. It's real. You just watch, like, I think he's in Everyone Says I Love You, and then you watch him in Happiness, and it's just like crazy. One thing I don't know if a lot of people talk about is that Sam Raimi, even if your background, like, he will talk to everyone and he'll actually say like action actors. He'll explain the scene to you, and he actually says action actors. And it's just a little thing like that. I was just like, oh, because this was early on in my career. I was like, really? Like, oh, that's a very sweet thing to do. Men in Black 3 was fun because I got to be a Men in Black. I got to have a custom suit made, which is nice. I didn't get to keep it, unfortunately. So that was fun. The thing is, they kept shooting stuff that it never made the final cut. So there's a lot of missing footage there's like a scene of Alice Eve and I where she's interrogating an alien.
Right.
Somewhere, I think, what is it? Universal has that? Is Universal Men in Black? Who has Men in Black?
I think so. I'd have to check.
Anyway, yeah. So they have it somewhere. All my stuff.
You had one or two where you got paid and never even had to show up, right?
I'm trying to think of that. What it was. That was
The Interpreter is one.
Yes, sorry, Yes, they shot downtown at one of these, like, there are these office buildings in New York that basically just they're gutted space. You can dress them however you want to. I'm sure someone leases them out now, but at the time it was like, hey, shoot your movie here. It's whatever. They shot Law and Order there and all these other shows, and then I was just in holding the whole time. They just never called me. And they kept calling me back for like 2-3 days. I'm just like, I'm not. All right. Just maybe if you want. Yeah. Yes. And yes, MIB ride in Universal Park. I've never been to it though.
All right.
I have other stories, but I don't want to. We have literally 20 minutes.
We might even only be able to get through your stuff. First off, how are you presenting the topic tonight? Because this was your deal.
It's my deal because you could every suggestion I gave to you, you kept nixing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to just do the best naked bodies in Hollywood. You looked actually embarrassed for a moment.
Dan, it's your first stream. I should have gone with KB. I'm sorry, KB, if you're still on here. I should have gone with you, man.
Oh man.
So the topic is times that films went too far, and you like that suggestion.
Yes.
And the initial idea was like when you figure like, oh, when something just got too grotesque or too. Thank you, Anthony. And the way I have my list broken down is kind of like from least extreme to the most, as far as why I feel it went too far. Like there's different reasons. So it'll make more sense when I go through it. But you have your list?
I do, but I went in a little bit of a different route. But that's okay.
How did you go?
Like when I bailed on a movie.
Oh, okay. Like you gave up on the plot, like this is stupid.
Yeah, like jump the shark moment.
Okay.
Not for extremity, but that's okay.
I have some honorable mentions that do that, but I didn't know how we were going to go back. But go ahead. What's your number 5?
Well, let's start with yours because I want to. Well, actually, let's do your 5 first because you're the guest. With us only having 17 minutes, I want to make sure we get through your whole list.
Okay. So my first one is Irreversible, and it's not for why you think. So for everyone who hasn't seen Irreversible before, Gaspar Noé, the director, put in a low frequency hum at the beginning of the film, and it's supposed to make you feel uneasy. And some people have a bad reaction to that. And I remember watching the film, and within like 2 minutes, I was like, I feel ill. And by the time they get into the club, I had to pause the film and go throw up. And my complaint is that feels like you don't believe in your film. Like we're about to step into a very disturbing, like you could have not put that in there and I will still, trust me, I will get your point. Irreversible is irreversible. So I felt like that's almost like a William Castle gimmick. Like you didn't need to do that because it makes you feel like you're thinking that I'm an idiot and I'm not going to get it. So for me, it's like that was a step too far. Like why? Like I get why he did. He's like, oh, that'd be cool. I'm like, but you don't need it. Your film stands on its own. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Your facial expression says, no.
I've never heard of like this this brown note in Irreversible type of situation, and for some reason it never bothered me. Maybe I have poor hearing.
That's why for me, like I put it at number 5 because it just affected me. I can't say it's everybody.
Right.
It's a time that I felt it went too far because, like, not that I'm gonna watch Irreversible on like a rainy Sunday afternoon, but
it's a good like feel better type of story. So at
least it's not me. But like when I found out they had the flipped, like the straight version,
yeah,
I got more excited because I was like, oh, I can skip the ending and I can, never have to worry about it again. But
that beginning though, man, that is, I know everybody talks about the assault in that movie. Mm-hmm. That first violent scene.
Is
way more violent than you expect out of it.
And I can watch that. That's fun. Like it's intense, but I can watch it. It's the fact that there is actually something causing me harm, bodily harm in the movie where it's just like, it's like if someone were like sensitive to like flashing lights, it's like, well, I can't watch this sequence because you put flashing lights in there, but this is unnecessary because I feel it's like, well, the scene is what it is. Like we're going to get into it within like 2 minutes. You're going to see some shit,
right?
So again, it goes back to the William Castle thing where it's just like, it's a gimmick to go to the theater because it's like a rumble seat. It's like, if your movie's scary, it's scary. I don't need a rumble seat. Like I saw a 4D presentation of Top Gun Maverick and I had already seen it once. It made it worse because I loved it. And I was like, you're distracting me from the movie. You're spraying water in my face.
I get that.
This film doesn't need this. So that's my reason for that. So it's not you sure you don't want to? You're number 5. I feel bad. Like it's literally just me talking for like 7.
I mean, it's only 15 minutes. Okay, I'll throw one out there. The one that when we first started talking about this,
Brad's in the chat. Brad, just hold tight.
the one that I knew I wanted to bring up was one that was released by Unearthed a few years ago. It's a Ryan Nicholson film, the movie Hanger. This is from 2009, and there are quite a few movies that are like, you can tell they're trying to be offensive, but Are you laughing about the descending dildo?
Yes, I am, because I'm 10.
Uh, so Hanger has lots of things that go too far in terms of jumping the shark, but also in terms of gross out. There is like there's one some guy takes off his somebody else's colostomy bag
Ugh.
and starts hitting somebody with it. Um,
Oh, I heard about this. Yes, he's got like the Duke Nukem glasses on the cover.
yeah.
Does he have sex with someone's arm or something like that?
With his colostomy port.
Oh, that's what it is. Sorry. Yes, the colostomy port. Yes.
This is a weird conversation to be having publicly with hundreds.
Someone
of people.
just dips right in here for it's like, should I join? Never mind, I'm going back.
Yeah, this movie, I did not love it. I know a lot of people love Ryan Nicholson, but not for me. I did finish this one, but man, did not really want to. This movie was tough to get through.
Yeah.
That was one of many scenes that was like, you know, you probably didn't have to.
That's your problem is having sex with a colostomy bag, but I don't get a low frequency hum that's actually making me vomit.
Yeah.
You close your eyes. I have to.
Those are very different things.
Yes. Okay. All right. So real fast. All right. So my number 4 is actually another Gaspar Noé film. This is the first time I've actually. I think he's a good director, but this is the first Gaspar Noé I ever saw, and I actually was like, before I was really exposed to like French extremism and stuff like that, and it's I Stand Alone. This one.
I've got the DVD. I could probably reach it within like one arm, but yeah, this.
For anyone not familiar, there's a scene at before you can get to the last 15 minutes of the movie, there's a warning that comes on and says you now have like 2 minutes to leave the theater. Otherwise, it's at your own peril. And it's not even that scene. It's the scene. There's a scene where the guy, the main character, for whatever reason, gets so frustrated. Stan, good for you, exactly. But I will spoil it for you. Because of his frustrations, turns to his pregnant wife, punches her repeatedly in the stomach, and then says in French, I was like, now it's ground beef. And I was like so horrified. I could not vouch for this character. It was just it was like that to me still is the epitome of the what? And I get it's part of the film, but that was to me, that was like a bridge too far where it's like, how am I supposed to this character is like, woe is me. I'm like, I don't fucking care about you, dude.
Yeah.
This is Do you remember that scene?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
All of it. How do you feel about like his entire filmography?
I think as a visual director, he's amazing. It's more so that there are those moments where it's like Lars von Trier, where there's times where it's just like, dude, like, feel the room. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's like I wish I had the conversation to be like, well, what were you trying to say here? This show's about colostomy bag sex. Yes. I'll be honest. I've only seen maybe 3 or 4 Gaspar Noé films. I have not yet seen. Is it Enter the Void?
Enter the Void, Climax, Lux Eterna, Love.
I've seen Love. My friend saw Love in the theater at the Angelica when it was in 3D. Actually in 3D.
I think the Blu-ray I have is 3D.
Well, the fact that you're trying to convince me that you have not tested it yet is complete.
Yep, it is 3D, and it was Artificial Eye / Curzon in the UK.
Okay. All right, next up for you. I'm getting you out of time.
10 minutes left. See, and this is where I start to be like the different reasons that I walked out, because the next one that I wrote down. This is such a after the 2 Gaspar Noés and the Hanger that I talked about. This is gonna be the dumbest thing, but Teen Wolf 2. I watched the first Teen Wolf movie and I was like, I bet if I watched this when I was 10, this would have been amazing. And then I watched Teen Wolf 2 because I'd never seen it. Like 4 minutes into the movie, I went, this feels like student actor saw Teen Wolf and said, "How could we make fun of it?" And yet it's the real attempt to make a sequel for it. And nothing about it feels genuine, and this movie is so bad.
Is it just my imagination, or does it take like an hour for him to become a wolf?
His uncle is a wolf long before him.
Yeah, like, but the boxing match, it takes forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually, I don't know if you've seen it online, the basketball game photo of Michael J. Fox and Justin Bateman.
Oh, yeah, they just fairly recently, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I easily own that. The moment Shout Factory put out Teen Wolf 1, I got that, and I skipped Teen Wolf 2. I mean, just Jason Bateman walked out of Teen Wolf 2, I think. That movie is hot
I
garbage.
swear, I having never seen them before, I was ready for, like, people talk about these like they're classic. That second movie, oh my god, can't stand it.
It's like it's like Supergirl and Teen Wolf 2, like the terrible sequels. But at least Supergirl is like bad good,
Right.
you know.
All right, hit us with your 3.
All right, my number 3, it is Showgirls.
Oh,
And it's actually what you thought Irreversible was going to be, but I'm going to give it to Showgirls. And my reasoning is, I'm always a staunch defender when you put something in a film and it's for a specific reason to tell a story. You know, I'm automatically going to be like, you're the storyteller, fine. But but it's so late in the film. The scene I'm talking about is the sexual assault scene, and it's so out of the blue. It just doesn't feel necessary to propel Naomi, Elizabeth Berkley's character, to getting revenge. There's plenty of villains throughout the film that she get revenge on, and for me, it's like, for anyone who's seen the film, it goes from like out of the blue to so over the top that almost feels, I'm not saying it's comical, but they're trying to make it comical.
right.
Do you know what I get? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you watch it, you're just like, what are you like? What are you trying to get across here? Like, it's terrible. Yes, it's like, but the way that they convey it is almost slapsticky, and it just doesn't feel. It loses the point of what it's trying to do for the film, and you know, even the execution of, like, you're at this party, and yes, I'm sure horrible things like this occur in parties like this all over, you know, Vegas and anywhere else in the world. But it's just like, there's so many people there, like, there's no cops. It just goes right to her being like, I'm going to get revenge. I'm like, there are other things you can do to get revenge. And I know that Verhoeven has used this trope many times before, but this feels like the most egregious, where it's like, what was the point of this? You know, the story we're already an hour and 45 minutes into the movie. You know, it feels gratuitous, and then it builds that even point of, like, trying to make it almost comical, and that to me is like the greatest offense, you know, of all. So that's why it beats out the 9-minute one in Irreversible, because at least that is the catalyst to the film,
Right.
So and again, it's French extremism versus Showgirls. So
I'm gonna call an audible. What's your number 2?
you're gonna call an audible?
Yeah. Well, instead of me going next, what's your number 2?
Oh, I was like, what are you talking? Okay. My number. Well, actually, that was my number 3. My other one's gonna be
4.
Yeah, this is gonna be my least. So this is not as bad, but The Human Stain. Have you seen this movie?
I don't know this one. No.
This is a movie about Anthony Hopkins playing a college professor who gets basically canceled at school for using a slur, or what is interpreted as a slur. But the tragedy is that Anthony Hopkins is black. Did you know this?
What?
Yeah. The plot is that Anthony Hopkins is a black man. And he's just white. He's pale enough to pass as Caucasian. His younger self is played by, and I should have looked it up earlier, the guy from Prison Break.
It's Wentworth Miller, and I'm looking at this as you're saying that. The cast on this is insanity.
Oh, it's insane. It's an
Anthony
amazing.
Hopkins, Nicole Kidman, Ed Harris, Gary Sinise, Wentworth Miller,
Yeah.
Clark Gregg,
Mhm.
Margot Martindale, Kerry Washington.
Mhm.
What is this?
If you have not, I know Rachel Portman did the score. If you have not yet, to say that Wentworth Miller will age into Anthony Hopkins is just the most absurd thing I've ever, like, again, it was the age of let's put Hopkins in everything. That's what it was. But again, it's not as obviously as it is as offensive, but it's not as obviously like visually offensive as the other movies. But it's a movie I've never heard of until. I can't believe I stumped Ryan. I really thought he was going to nod his head and go.
I don't know everything. Come on. This is crazy looking.
Good night, Ryan's mom. Sleep well. Yeah, it really is like completely. It's laughable. It really is laughable.
All right, last pick.
Me?
Yep.
Okay, number one with a bullet is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Without any explanation.
Yep. And just real fast, I'll just say it because it's unnecessary. I can watch Full Metal Jacket. I can watch Deer Hunter. You're at war. I get it. But this was just, and I will defend every 80s comedy, that has like, all the sex romps and all that stuff. But this is, I don't even know if it's in the original Capote novel. I think it's just thrown in to be mean. It's just mean. It serves no purpose. And again, I can appreciate the time period of like, oh, I get, not why I know you did it because of the time that was the thing to do, but it's not even about it didn't age well. It never was anything good. It's just again, it serves no purpose to the film. That's just the long and short of it. So I have so many honorable mentions. I know you got to get going. And again, like you said, like different types of things that just like take me out of the film. Someone mishandles a puppy in Apocalypse Now, and I want to punch the guy in the face. The Yeti does the touchdown pose in Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. That really got to me. Windsurfing at Tsunami and Die Another Day. The Blind Side, the whole damn movie. I've always argued the whole plot twist of $1 Million Baby, that she's taken out by a stool. That just really, like, if you came to an agency and was like, hey, what about this? And they're like, that's your movie.
Right.
So anyway, Scary 61st basically rips off an entire segment from Eyes Wide Shut, aside from being a crappy film. But
done very poorly. Yeah,
like literally takes, like, it's almost like plagiarism because it's actually like the note from Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, and they're claiming it's the same universe. Come on.
Yeah, it's the same. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Anyways, first, thank you, sir, for doing this tonight. I'm so glad we got you on here finally.
Thank you for having me on it. I'm honored to have been allowed, on camera.
To anybody else that is still not tired and you don't want the night to end, please go find the TerrorVision YouTube. In fact, I will put the link. If you give me 1 second, I will give you, open up this link in a new tab, and in just 10 minutes, we will be live over on that channel, and we're going to be talking about some announcements, some vault reveals, some other random stuff. It's going to be a fun show tonight.
And I should watch it.
Everybody should watch it. It's going to be a good time.
Based on my taste, I should watch it.
I'll talk to you after the stream. Next week, Dr. Will's back on to talk about Arrow announcements, OCN announcements, probably Shout Factory announcements, and if you want another tease, one more tease, we are revealing something that someone's favorite productions did for TerrorVision tonight. Come check that out, and we're going to share some stories about that next Thursday. So thanks for hanging out tonight, guys, and we'll see you over there in just under 10 minutes. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.